Hi, it's BBC Radio Norfolk for your Friday morning. Kayleigh here with you. And I think in a time where we're often hearing about businesses closing down, independent businesses being lost on our high streets, it's nice to have a bit of good news to celebrate, actually, because industry supply firm Lamberts have celebrated their 60th anniversary in the county. Family-run business set up by Henry Beare in 1963. So the current managing director for Lamberts is Henry's granddaughter, Trina Beare. And I've been speaking to her to find out more about family values when running a family business.
We're Lamberts. We're based on Whiffler Road, third generation family business, and we sell pipe, valves, fittings, tube, workwear to the industrial and retail market. So heavy industry is our biggest market.
And I'm guessing for most people, pipe valves never sound the sexiest, do they? But
I don't know, there are a few words that I couldn't possibly repeat that refer to it.
But of course, these are things, and when you get things like this, I've got so many traders in the family, and you need to get good quality stuff, and I'm guessing that's what you bring.
Yeah, my grandfather always had the motto that we stock the top brands. We would never get cheap alternatives. It would be top quality. So our customers always know they're going to get the best of the best.
Oh, and to be a family business, what does that mean to know there's this rich history behind your business?
Yeah, I suppose I grew up with it in the background. It was never a massive part of my childhood, but when I came into the business about 16 years ago, I suddenly realised how many people recognised the name, and they always had positive things to say about it, which is lovely. And yeah, I suppose I've learnt to appreciate it, and I'm only custodian of it. It was set up by my grandfather, and I just try and carry on in the same ethos that he set it up as, that we treat everybody equally, and customers, suppliers, staff.
I suppose as it's gone through your family and through the generations, I think industry is the same, isn't it? You often sort of pass on your trade to your family. So there's probably people that have sort of grown up, their grandparents would have known it back in the day, and now they're with it as well. And to sort of have that legacy, it must be incredible.
I do come across a lot of people that say, oh, my grandmother used to work there, or oh, I remember them when they had the trade counter in a different position. And yeah, so it's nice to hear of people and the past and how it links to today as well.
And it's amazing that to have you take it over as well, actually, because I think you don't get that many women sort of MDing up in trade businesses that often, but actually to see that's just an absolute fab.
I suppose I've been asked this a number of times over my career, and I've always been instilled by my family that everybody is equal.
It must be like a privilege, though, to sort of still be in charge of it, though, and actually, because I suppose it's a responsibility, isn't it? Because you're in charge of so many people, but also you must sometimes just sit down and go and pinch yourself and go, oh my gosh, this is my day.
Yeah, I suppose I've got sort of used to it now. It's people say, oh gosh, it must be quite a responsibility, but I suppose you just take it in your stride. And my grandfather's with me every day. He might not be here in person, but he's on my wall in my office, and if I have a bad day, I look over and ask him what I should do in a certain situation. My dad still comes in on a couple of days in a week and sits and has a coffee, and we chat about things, and he's always such a book of wisdom of keeping me calm, and if there's any issues, he always has faith that we'll sort it and we'll get through it. So
that's amazing, because I know a lot of people and families that work together, and it does not work. The arguments start, it all gets a bit competitive, but it sounds like for you and your family, it's just been this network, it's been this sort of solid structure that supports each other.
Yeah, as a family we've always been quite close, and I think because my grandfather and my father always said I was not going to come into the family business. I was going to go off and find my own path. There was never a view to me coming in, and I think when I did, it wasn't a view for me staying. It was a case of I was going to just get experience of working with people and working in an office. Having had children, I hadn't worked, so. And then I sort of moved around the business and never really left. And it sort of just happened. It wasn't sort of one day there it was handed to me on a plate. It was sort of gradual. I suppose in hindsight that was the best way to have it develop, so that it didn't frighten me, or I just grow and learn about the business quite naturally.
That's a nice way to do it, though, isn't it? Is there any sort of still parts of, I don't know, sort of like your granddad's wisdom and teachings that you still stick to today?
Oh, yes. My grandfather, whenever he came into the business, would always, apparently, I've heard this from a number of people, would go round and speak to everybody, whether they were in the warehouse, whether they were in the stores, whether they were in the sales office. He would make sure he spoke to everybody. And I suppose I've taken that, and that also aligns with what I was taught, that everybody is the same and everybody is just as important as each other. So every day now when I get into the office, I go round, and I call it my walk round, and I go round and I just say morning to everybody, just giving everybody an opportunity to speak to me if they need to talk about anything. I can usually judge whether they're having a bad day or something's bothering them, and that's how my day starts, to make sure that everybody in my team happy and comfortable and ready to go ahead with the day. And then I can sit at my desk, do my work, safe in the knowledge that they're comfortable in their day ahead.
And that's part of the family side of it, isn't it? Because they become your family, so you look after them. And is it that your granddad used to say, staff service systems, get them right and you'll do well?
Yes. Yes, more. I'm sure he didn't realise that systems was going to be more computerised as it is today. But yeah, very much true.
I mean, to have sort of employers and employees that have been with you for years and years and years and years, I mean, that experience is vital as well, isn't it?
Yes. They've seen the business grow, and their loyalty is second to none. I can't knock that in any way. It only benefits us. They know our ethos, they live it and breathe it, and it's my staff that run the business, and I just oversee it and make sure they're in the best position to do their roles to the best of their ability. Without them, I wouldn't have Lamberts. We wouldn't have Lamberts. So, yeah, they're a massive part of my day.
And of course, I mean, 60th anniversary. What a landmark. It's amazing. So, I mean, what have you got? Bunting? How are you going to celebrate it?
Okay, so on the actual day, we had a big cake and a photo shoot, and lots of food was consumed. Maybe when the weather's a bit better, we might do some things with the staff. So, reward the staff. They're first. So
yeah, so it needs to warm up a little bit before you do barbecues and pieces.
At the beach.
If you read the newspapers at the moment, I don't know if it's going to snow or we're going to have a heat wave. It seems to be both simultaneously.
Yes, let's hope not.
I mean, to be an independent business, in 2023, that's hard work, I think, at the best of times, when you're up against, the big brands and the big corporations, let alone factoring in cost of living. I think we've had supply shortages, COVID, Brexit. There's been a lot thrown at you over the last few years.
Yes, there has. There's not much that we haven't been through as a team. The fact that we are small, very close-knit, and we know each other so well is a benefit, I see, that when decisions need to be made very quickly, as in with COVID, or we have sudden amount of snow we're not expecting, we can make decisions literally on the spot and put plans in action, which makes us very quick to react to situations when they come across us. So that's a benefit. We also are a member of a Regional Engineering Group, and there's 7 of us within the group around the country. We're all very similar. We're all family businesses, independent, family owned. None of us cross on each other's path territory, so there's no competition, which means when we meet up 3 times a year, we can openly discuss situations we're all going through, and we've all been through the same things. But it's a great support for us as a business. But as the main aim of that is that we can group together on deals, financial deals, and that helps with competing against the nationals. So we are on a level playing field with the nationals, with our service, and our extra mile we go with our customers puts us in front.
And what do you think the secret is to a good family business?
I think it's treating others as you wish to be treated. Everybody is equal. Everybody's important. And when somebody rings up and is having a problem and needs immediate support, we're there for them, and we can understand, and we can go that extra mile in helping.
It's Trina Beare, who's talking about her family business, Lamberts, celebrating 60 years this year.